and that's the match I'd like to come to next. In fact, before I even come to that, I'm looking at 8 players on the screen right now, and one of them is going to be making the final. Greek sport Watanuki, Rune, Tsitsipas, Giron, although I should say Gidon, I think, shouldn't I? Fils, Paul, or Medvedev. And I guess we're sort of making Tsitsipas the favourite from that bunch of 8, despite, having never really got close to an Indian Wells final before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, confidence-wise, form-wise, the racket switch, everything seems to be coming together for him. I do think, obviously, there are also dangerous players there, but after Ruud lost, that was also like a really important one. Of course, Zverev too. But after that, you kind of just have to look at Tsitsipas and Medvedev as like the biggest names there. Steph would have been like, before Dubai, he would have been nowhere near that conversation. But right now we have to put him there. Of course, there's also Paul. Rune is somehow playing pretty well right now too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tsitsipas has to be ahead of Medvedev simply on the basis of like confidence, form.
What is Tsitsipas's best run at Indian Wells? I'm going to just off the top of my head say
quarter in 21.
Yeah.
I would say off the top of my head, the October edition.
Does it surprise you that he's never gone closer? Slow conditions shouldn't necessarily be against him, although I do think that generally on a hard court, maybe he does favour the slightly quicker conditions, which I think Australia tends to be a bit quicker than the US, sort of over sort of a 10-year period. I know every year it sort of changes.
He's done well in Acapulco, though. Yeah. Beijing. It's a little surprising. I would definitely say that. I think, Tsitsipas either is like very good on very quick courts where he's just dominating with the serve and forehand, or on very slow where like he's an all-court player and like very all-rounded there. But yeah, I do think he should have an Indian Wells run at some point. Maybe it's this time. And as much as we're kind of like seeing right now, I don't think the conditions are really any different or that much different compared to last year, even though that was, of course, something that before the tournament we were talking about a lot. But yeah, I think at this point I'm rating his confidence more than the past history.
Yeah, of course, not easy. Holger Rune up next, and then potentially, as we said before, Greek sport in the quarters. But Holger Rune, the matchup there in terms of head-to-head certainly doesn't look like it's a great opportunity for Steph, because he's 3-0 behind in the head-to-head with Rune. The most recent of which was indoor hard. In fact, the 2 most recent clashes were indoor hard. One in Stockholm in 22, and the other one at the ATP Tour Finals. But he did retire in that one, so it was not really a huge amount to go on there. The other one coming at Roland Garros. Who can forget that one? Was that maybe Rune's, breakout result in terms of sort of big wins and really putting him on the map? I do recall that one. Steph was cutting a very forlorn.
It was an important one for both, right? Because Tsitsipas from that bottom half was looking like the favorite to make it again. And
it was a very lopsided draw that year, I remember.
Yep.
With Djokovic, Alcaraz, Zverev, and Nadal all in one half, and then the other half saw, I think it was Casper Ruud, wasn't it, getting to the final that year? But it was always likely to be, it was his half, really, that he kind of blew in a way. He gets it to 1-set all in that match against Holger in the 4th round, but then Holger pulls away from him somewhat surprisingly. Straight sets in Stockholm, and as I mentioned, he retired indoor hard. But they've not played each other for sort of 15, 16 months, so perhaps we can slightly put that aside, and they've not played on an outdoor hard either, and certainly not in Indian Wells. So we are leaning Tsitsipas, right?
Yeah, simply on form, but I do think that Rune is obviously so talented, and we've seen what he can do at his peak, including these wins over Steph. So if there's someone on the way to the semis here that's going to throw a big curveball to Tsitsipas, that's Rune, yeah. And very important for him to come through last night as well, because in these conditions he should be beating Humbert. I think he did, slow, bouncy, not really the Frenchman's best options, and he's also done decently well in Indian Wells in the past. Yeah, it's actually an unexpected danger in that Tsitsipas draw. That before the event you would have said, well, yeah, sure, if Rune gets to the 4th round, but at this point in time you just can't trust him to win even one match. He's picked it up at least for 2 wins, and this is definitely an opponent that I think Steph is not comfortable against.
Obviously, both players getting a bye in the 1st round, with Rune then beating Moutet in straight sets before that really pretty epic match he had last night against Humbert, winning in 3. Tsitsipas yet to drop a set in his 2 matches against Sabot Wild, which you would expect him to win that one probably without dropping a set. but looking very good against Berrettini, although I do think the quality from both players actually was not of the highest order. Steph did not have to bring his A game to win that. For whatever reason, Matteo just wasn't feeling it or wasn't playing anywhere near his best yesterday. And I also saw those sentiments that I had shared on social media echoed by one or two Italian journalists too. So Stefanos is now into the fourth round. But the main reason I think we have a lot of faith in Stefanos right now is because of that Dubai run, right?
Yeah, Dubai run. I mean, you tell me if it's confidence or the racket switch. The stats seem to back it up. That
Return position
the
as well has
switch.
been highlighted, right? I think he's sort of generally staying consistently deep for return position.
I mean, that's going to be a court thing as well, I think, especially in Indian Wells, right? I mean, on clay, Steph likes to go very far back and just try to take as many returns as he can off the forehand. So I don't know if it's not something related to that too. But yeah, the stats in terms of the spin, the power on the backhand definitely seem to suggest that he has improved that since switching to that Babolat frame. Someone on my Twitter, like yesterday, I think commented that like Tsitsipas was also very confident in Australia against Mikkelsen and wasn't playing that well, and that's why.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you are tuning in from. Brenna, I think for you it is 4:20.
That is correct.
I had to do a little bit of a mental thought there because normally it's a 6-hour time difference to Central European time.
Correct.
However, we've got 2 weeks, I think, where it's just 5 hours.
That is correct. That is correct.
And of course, it does affect our tennis watching because there's a tournament right now in the US, albeit on the Pacific coast. So I think normally it's 9 hours, but for a couple of weeks it's 8. And we're watching Rune making some inroads on the Steph serve, although I'm about to watch a point that Steph should win, although he's given Rune a chance to get back into it. No, 30-all. So we're now going to find out how far behind or ahead. Normally I'm behind, so I expect to be 15, 20 seconds behind you, maybe even slightly more.
That's correct, John. But good news for us is I can go minus 20 seconds and we'll be pretty much at the same spot.
Yeah, if we can sync ourselves up in the right spot, that'd be great. Damien will be taking over from me at some point. So at that point, you may have to then go fast forward again because his stream is really ahead of mine. But we'll figure that out when we get there. But yeah, 30-all at the moment with Stefanos serving. Obviously, from love 30, he's had to make a little bit of ground. That's a lovely forehand winner from him. In fact, all three, Vanch, myself, and Damien, have all gone for Tsitsipas to win this match. Do you have the same outcome?
I don't. I'll get my words in quickly. I actually like Rune here, but it looks like the players are being sent off court. So early rain.
I have some similar scenario. Even though I was 20 seconds behind you anyway, either way, it doesn't matter because I wondered why Google was telling me this match had been suspended when I was watching the points unfold in front of me. But yeah, we've got to 40-30 in favor of Stefanos, and rain has already played its part in today's proceedings. We had a delay for 45 minutes, I would say, before play got underway. By the way, we have got Watanuki in action. So the good news is, even though tennis is wildly unpredictable in terms of our dependence on weather, we do always have something to talk about. And there's been a few things happening in the tennis world today that I want to get your thoughts on. But one of those as well is that Greek Sport is up a set and 4-1 on Watanuki. I don't know if you've seen any of this match. I haven't, because I was watching Iga and Paolini in its entirety. But I got some thoughts of Vanch, who was watching this. And I did, even though I hadn't seen a point, I did feel that tiebreak was crucial. 4-2, Watanuki was up in that tiebreak with a mini break. But as soon as he lost that advantage, it was like, yeah, that could well be the match. And it's looking that way right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, John, I tuned in at 5-4 in the breaker. So I guess Greek
Okay,
Sport had won 3
what happened
points in
in
a
those
row.
three? Tell me what happened in those 3 points, Brenna, if you can remember.
Yeah, Wozniacki just unfortunately made forehand errors for no reason. Yeah, and he's been so smiley and happy all week, and he knew he was laughing at himself a bit for missing those. Why now? Why at 6-4? But you know that's that's how it goes. And yeah, and he's love 40. So Greek Sport has 3 break points,
Oh,
and then
wow.
yeah, that should be it.
Should
But
be.
obviously a lot of positives to take from his little run here.
I don't know if you saw our poll that I put in our WhatsApp group yesterday, which is looking at this half of the draw. And some of us have Tsitsipas making the final. It's really, I put it down as a 6-way fight. Watanuki and Giron, I think, are excellent tennis players and worthy of their spots in the round of 16. But to imagine either of those in the final, particularly given Watanuki's plight right now, makes it difficult for me to imagine either of those two. But a few of us have Tsitsipas in the final, not with any great conviction because there's 6 big contenders, of which Greek Sport, I think, is another one. But I'm guessing if you're favouring Rune today, you don't have Tsitsipas in that final. So I've got 2 questions for you. One is, who do you have from that half of the draw making the final? And why do you favour Rune in this match against Tsitsipas today?
Yeah, I definitely start with the fact that Steph is, obviously playing so well and coming from his title. I haven't been the biggest fan of his tennis, obviously, in the last 6 months to a year even, but
Sure.
it's been so much fun watching him play, and I think coming from those quicker courts out in Dubai to, slower courts here is actually benefit
Okay.
him. So from that standpoint, I'm happy for him. I think things are going well. The conditions are perfect for him. So why not continue that success? But I just think Rune from a ball striking standpoint, and I kind of think back to Steph's first round match at Australian Open against Mickelson, where I
Oh,
think in
yeah.
that match it was key for Mickelson to use that backhand down the line. And
Okay.
I talked about this like earlier in some of the streams. I just think that backhand down the line shot is such a difference maker at all levels of tennis. Just the ability to do it with ease, and a little bit of unpredictability. And from a matchup standpoint, Steph likes to cheat a little bit on his backhand wing and looks for inside out position, from the forehand spot. So I think if Rune can rush him a little bit as he's cheating up that forehand wing, he's going to trouble him a bit, and then look to make it a little bit more unpredictable. And obviously, we know Rune is a strong talent, no matter where you put him. So it's just about how long can he keep his level, and he was able to watch the last little bit of the Umber Rune match, and he was ultimately just able to take over, and put so much pressure on Ugo. So.
I mean, he has got a 3-0 favourable head-to-head, albeit I think they haven't played in the last 15, 16 months. And the last one does go in the favour of Rune, but it was a retirement. But the previous 2 matches, the big one that stood out in my mind most, of course, is that French Open match, because I think, as Damien and I said in the preview, that was Steph getting to the final, really. We looked at the draw beforehand. We looked at Steph's improvements over the years and his 2021 final 2 sets to love up against Novak. That could have, of course, gone his way. And that half of the draw that he was in, it had Stefanos in the final almost written in stone before the tournament got underway, because all the big guys were in the other half. But Holger Rune had other ideas. I don't know if you remember this match very well.
I don't, John, actually.
Don't worry.
Unfortunately, it was right before I started to get big into the
was
sport.
traveling to Paris, maybe even that same day, because I was there for the quarterfinals, semi-finals. I was there for Rune's quarterfinal against Rude, which came a little bit after the Lord Mayor's show, as we say in the UK, because the previous day you had Novak against Rafa in, which obviously took all the headlines and was already like indelibly marked on our minds ready for, when the draw was made. It was like, wow, these two guys are on a collision course, not in the final, not in the semi-final, but the quarterfinal, because I think Rafa's ranking had slipped. And that was obviously the big thing. And then obviously also the same day we had Zverev against Alcaraz in a pretty epic encounter with Zverev winning that one. So the following day was sort of, especially with Tsitsipas's demise, I saw Rune play Rude. Rude winning that encounter, and then there was some sort of famous or infamous disagreement the pair had in the locker room afterwards. And I think Cilic played Cilic played Rublev that day, right? Yeah. Rublev getting to the quarterfinals of Grand Slam and falling short as only he can. And maybe that was the one that Rublev should regret most. I think it was a 5th set tiebreak that Cilic won that one in. So it was a pretty cool day. But yeah, basically regarding that tournament anyway, Steph should have been in the final. But I mean, it was just Rude wasn't quite what we realize he is now in terms of just being a phenom on clay. And I think many of us already had Tsitsipas getting to the final, but for whatever reason, he fell short against Holger Rune. So Rune does have a 3-0 head-to-head, albeit they've not played on an outdoor hard court. Right. I think basically the reason why most of us have gone for Stefanos today is just that new form. You know, the performances in Indian Wells are probably comparable. Did Rune make a quarters or a semi-final last year? I'm going to check. He had a good run in Indian Wells.
Yeah, he did have a good run. He did have a good run.
But I'm just trying to remember whether he got to the quarters before losing to Medvedev. And it was a competitive straight sets loss. So, yeah, we don't have, I believe, any quarterfinals yet lined up in Indian Wells. As in, like, we've got Iga's there, but she needs to wait. She needs to await the winner of Marta Kostiuk and Qinwen Zheng. Watanuki is close, but Arta, Fils, and Giron have yet to get underway. And I think that's a real chance for a semi-final. At the moment, it looks like Greek Sport with Love 40 on the Watanuki serve. I mean, Greek Sport, Giron, or Arta, Fils in the semi-finals. Which one of those three would you pick to make the semis from that? Let's include Watanuki, but given his plight right now. So which of these 4 players do you think will make the semis?
I mean, I'd talk about form, and I would go with Greek Sport.
Okay.
It's just obviously we watched it together, that match against Tsitsipas in Dubai, the semifinal. And it just felt like Greek Sport was kind of out of gas. I mean, he played well enough to get his holds, but just you remember those 2 tough volleys that cost him on break points, and that was kind of the match. Stefanos was kind of unbreakable. Didn't see a break point. So I think coming to the slower surface is actually beneficial. Like sometimes Greek Sport, he hits with a lot of spin, and so that can work well on this type of surface. I think from a returning perspective, he's not the best returner, but these courts do help him a bit. And getting into points, he's still deadly at the baseline. I feel like I didn't watch a lot of the match versus Kecmanovic. It was the first round match where he lost a breaker, but I think that's something I highlight with Greek Sport. He's been so good in tie breaks as of late. Okay. If we were to look at the stats, I think it would be something like 7 out of the last 10. Okay. So he's definitely reliable there.
His head-to-head with Kecmanovic, I don't think was great either from what Damien was saying. So it's 3-1. Okay, so it's not too bad actually. Sorry, 3-1 now. It was 2-1 before that match. But Kecmanovic obviously winning a title recently. I think Greek Sport's path to this round at least was a tough one. I mean, beating Zverev as well in a 3rd set tiebreaker. So he's certainly battle hardened, and I can see why. I think other people might be leaning Fils amongst these 3. He's not made a semi-final of a 1,000 before, which again might surprise some people because he's done so well at the 500 levels, including title wins, obviously, on hard and on clay. But he's not had a really good run, either a 1,000 or a slam. So it might be here. And Giron in the last 16 is about as I like Giron a lot, especially his movement, but that is about as good as you're probably going to get it at this stage. So. But he just doesn't always put players away that he should put players away with. Anyway, that's those 4. The other mini section is Rune, Tsitsipas, and who else is in that part? Tommy Paul and Daniel Medvedev.
And Daniel Medvedev, yeah.
So we've now got this. I'm going back to one of the questions that I'm still sort of seeking an answer from you. That's because I've been talking so much. From this half of the draw, if it's not Tsitsipas, who do you have in that final?
Tommy Paul.
Tommy Paul. How
I think
about
this
that?
tournament, yeah, I think this tournament is tailor made for him.
Okay.
I know it's kind of it's very fritzy over there, but Tommy Paul has like the perfect game. I actually like him on grass. He is so good at
Yeah. One great
adjusting to any surface. But you're not gonna be able to hit through him. The court's way too slow.
Yeah.
He's essentially a wall like ADM. He'll get everything back. He counter punches so well. I think today will definitely be tough for Medvedev, just from condition standpoint. Like he's gonna go out there and have to win points. Against Medvedev, that's something you're gonna have to take risk on, and I think he's comfortable doing that. And that's why I think from here, like he's not gonna be really uncomfortable in rallies at all. And when he sees a ball he likes, he's gonna go after it. And I think just players with a lot of variety. You talk about Tommy Paul and Stefanos, and their game's a little bit unpredictable when they have the ability to go the drop shot. That's why Carlos is like unplayable. He just has too much time to do anything he wants. But so that is my take. I think no matter who wins this matchup, Tommy Paul will get the better of him. And then you talked about that Steve's Garon match. I just think those two players are the more vulnerable of the three, including Greek Sport on that bottom section. Garon obviously I feel like he's gotten away with it this week, but two tough gritty wins. That's for Rune. He had love 40 in the first set, 4-5, and didn't get any of the set points. And then he actually got another one after the ad. So he should have taken that first set, and then who knows, but 14 out of 15 saved against Popyrin. So I just think that's a vulnerable side. I do think Fees gets through him. I saw your talk with Damien, and I think I agree with what you guys saying. I just think he has the weapons to do it. And then, how big will the moment be? First 1,000 semifinal. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Tommy Paul is my pick.
So at the moment, there is a rain delay. We had the beginning of Tsitsipas Rune. They got to 40-30 on Steph's serve, but the rain has halted play for the second time today. We'll see as and when they come back. But in the meantime, I want to get some of your thoughts on a couple of women's matches that are set in stone for tomorrow, the round of 16. We've got Samsonova up against Paolini and Vekic against Keys. Just wondering what, if any of these players you've seen en route to the last 16. I saw bits of Madison Keys' win over Mertens. Probably the most significant bit I saw was the end of the second set, which I think might have surprised some people that actually went to the tiebreak, given the advantages that Keys had, including, I think, a match point in that tiebreak from memory. But
multiple, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she had multiple in that second set. She did. Was she up 5-3 as well? Maybe.
Yeah, she was up a break. I caught the tail end of that tie break as well. I think she was feeling the moment a bit.
Okay.
But what's great to see is to come out strong in the third, and you could see how much it meant to her just to get that first win under her belt again, or second win, but just be in the moment again, be present, and go do what she can do best. I saw a little bit of the Paolini match last night versus Priscilla, I think it was. Who was very, very high level from them, and just so physical. I think once again, Paolini, like a player that adapts really well to no matter what surface she's playing on, and plays with so much variety. And despite, I think that ball, I don't know if you noticed this, but I mean, she is short. I don't know what exactly her height is, but that topspin ball is kicking up high over, her strike zone, and she's going up there and almost counter punching from that position, which is so impressive. Movements off the charts, and she's definitely tough to get through. But Samsonova does have weapons, but she's just Paolini's such a pest. So you gotta stay in the moment.
Are you surprised that Vekic has made it this far? I mean, being Navarro, maybe Navarro does seem to be a cat with 9 lives at the moment in various tournaments. And even here in Indian Wells, of course, having to save a match point herself en route to the round of 32 before she came unstuck. But yeah, I think maybe for me at least, I still probably thought that she would have too much for Vekic. But there we go. Vekic won that one 7-6, 6-1. I don't know if you caught any of this match, but if you didn't, I'd like to get your thoughts on her upcoming match against Madison Keys.
Yeah, I was able to watch some of that Navarro match. It was a little bit of a break fest in the first set. Pretty much traded breaks from, I think, 2-1. And what I was really impressed with was, Vekic, her ball striking is so big, and we know that. And Emma's really good at counterpunching. But Vekic's playing so tight to the baseline, playing very like ball strike first and oriented. And then her drop shot was off the charts, John. Like it was,
Okay.
I was raving, which is impressive. And that tie break was huge. I think she got out to an early lead and was able to hold on. But just hitting with so much power, so much depth, it was too much for Emma to handle. And then after doing all that, mixing in, I swear, it's just the disguise is off the charts. If you take a look at some of those highlights, you'll I hope you'll agree with me. But so it's definitely a positive performance, and yeah, definitely impressed me against Navarro, who can always outlast you.
Do you think she has a fighter's chance, or maybe even more, against Madison Keys?
Totally.
Sorry,
I do.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah. Once again, I just go back to the ball striking. Like having time to load up on this surface has been, such a positive for so many of the players. But Madison Keys, once again, finally kind of getting her inner comfort zone, I would say, and that's tough to beat. But I just think Vekic didn't look super, like super into the match where she was overly emotional, but wasn't like extremely reserved. She was in a good kind of middle space, and I think her mental ability in this type of match, it'll probably be a good environment here in Indian Wells. So I think if she can stay level and kind of trail her serve, we saw that Madison Keys is a little bit susceptible.
Yeah, she is susceptible, and I think maybe Madison, of course, is unbeaten so far this year, if I'm right. She won a tournament, didn't she, on the eve of the Australian Open? Is she unbeaten?
Besides Towson, she lost to Clara Towson, so she's
Yeah,
like
of course. I
16
apologize.
winners.
Yeah. So, but she's obviously had a phenomenal start to the year, of course, including that Australian Open win. But she's on a win streak at least of around about 14, I would say, or maybe I'm just trying to think, maybe even 15. But she's on certainly a good winning streak. Now, do I see that winning streak taking her all the way to the title in Indian Wells? No, I don't. Do I see her getting to the final? That's a possibility, big possibility. And I do see her beating. The reason, of course, the one thing that makes me stop her from winning the title is Iga Swiatek. Now, of course, I know she beat her on a hard court in Australia, but that is worlds away from this hard court here, as we've seen with the way that Iga's performed in the desert over the last few years compared to Australia. They're worlds apart, her results, and there's a reason for that. Madison, of course, and also Madison, I remember her telling me last year, playing Iga on clay, it sucks. And she repeated it. She said, it sucks. Now, she's not played her in the desert as far as I'm aware in their head-to-head, but I think it might be a similar scenario. But anyway, back to Madison Keys against Donna Vekic. I do probably think, given the form of the two players, and I know what you said about Vekic, but actually her track record in the desert has not been great. I think she highlighted that in her post-match interview, basically saying she's always looked forward to coming here. And even though her results here have never been great, I think this is the furthest she's been in the tournament in her career. She enjoys playing here, but the results suggest otherwise, certainly. And I expect that to continue against Madison and might even go Keys in straights.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it this morning. How was it like 10 days ago? We thought this the surface was going to be like a little bit slicker, like maybe
Yeah, I know.
just a
Yeah,
bit quicker, and it's even slower. Like, so like you said, everyone loves, or many love coming to tennis paradise, but it's not always the best conditions for some of our bigger hitters.
indeed. Are you going to go for Keys or Vekic?
I'll play the U.S. card.
All right,
Madison
Keys it is.
Keys.
Yeah, I got you. Samsonova, Paolini. This, of course, is also coming up tomorrow in the round of 16. Let me check out their head-to-head. You mentioned, obviously, Paolini's fortitude in getting this far. Samsonova, actually, I don't even know what her route has been. I'm going to have a look at it now. McNally was her round of 64 opponent before she overcame Kasatkina in the second round, or in the round of 32, I should say, in a 3-set win. So she's dropped one set en route. Not a bad journey for her, let's say, to the third round, or the round of 16, her third match.
No,
Yeah,
definitely not. Yeah,
yeah,
it's fine. I think Kasatkina stands out to me, though, to be honest, John. I think, like, when I was doing WTA Weekly with Nick,
uh-huh.
we gave, like, 3 players we thought that might be, on the outside to have a chance, and I was definitely, on the fence about Kasatkina, just because she's hard to hit through,
Yeah,
and really can counterpunch well, and plays with good variety. So I thought, that's like not going to be an easy out, but it's good. It's good. Samsonova, like I said, she has weapons.
oh, yeah,
She has the ability. I think the health has been a little bit of a question, uh,
yeah.
in the recent months, but overall, should be a good match.
Samsonova leads the head-to-head 2-0.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
She won that. I mean, the first one was 2019, so a long time ago. And then they also played first round in Australia in 2023, and Samsonova won that one in straight sets. The St. Petersburg 2019 clash, by the way, was a qualifying round. I mean, Paolini in particular has been a late bloomer, and really,
Right.
I mean, the blooming really was 2024 in so many respects for her. I mean, she was having decent results, making finals. I remember seeing her in the Monastir final in 23. But I never thought that day when she lost to Mertens in Monastir in September 23, just after the US Open, I never thought that's a girl who's going to be making 2 slam finals in 2024. But tennis being tennis, it is what it is. I think it's going to be difficult for Paolini to replicate her 2024. Obviously, winning a 1,000 and making 2 Grand Slam finals, I think it's difficult for pretty much anyone on the tour that isn't called Iga Swiatek or Rune Sabalenka. But I think even Paolini, I think both Gil Gross and I at the beginning or the end of last year, when we were sort of looking ahead into our crystal balls for 2025, Paolini was in a way an easy one to answer, in that we both thought that she would drop. It was just how far, and both of us probably, well, I think Gil had her in his year-end top 10, I think he had her at 10 actually, and I went for her not to be in the top 10, but it was like, she's really good, and her determination will get her through results like she did yesterday, but I don't know if it'll be good enough to sort of be a WTA finalist again, for example. I ended up having her just outside the top 10. He went for her just inside, but what about this encounter with Samsonova? Just 2 matches to go on, and both of them were long before Paolini became the Paolini we know today. You've seen Paolini obviously come through so far in Indian Wells. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I know. I'm with you, John. I mean, I'm just curious how much, weight she puts on herself in terms of, like, what do I expect from myself this year? I just think there are too many ebbs and flows throughout a season. Obviously, like, our top 10 players are top 10 players for a reason, because they can perform consistently, when the time matters. But, um, you know, I think this can be, perfect moment for her, in these sorts of conditions. And I think if she, like I said, like, if she accepts the reality that it's not going to be a dream season again, I think she can get back to her fundamentals, which is, being a pest and being able to counterpunch everything, hit balls well on the run, just be an outstanding defender when she needs to be. So I think I can see that working out well for her. But we know Samsonova is a good ball striker. So
I'm going to go Samsonova.
okay, I'll go Paolini.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do now, Breno, is because we've got this rain delay and we have no idea whether it's going to be 5 minutes or 5 hours right now. I'm optimistic it won't be 5 hours, especially given that the rain tends to subside in Indian Wales a little bit quicker than it does in London, that's for sure. What we're going to do now is we're going to put ourselves on pause for an undetermined amount of time. And when they do return to the court, I think you and Damien can take over basically and see the match through. Is that all right?
Sounds good, John.
So we'll have plenty of stuff, some old classic footage, including not quite so old or not quite so classic. We're going to, first of all, start with a Tsitsipas Rune preview, which I'll play from Damien and I from yesterday. And there'll be plenty of other videos and stuff to keep you entertained throughout. On play, and we'll return, and we'll be keeping you updated, of course, in the comments section and with banners as well. And we'll return as soon as the players do to court. So, Breno, I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good, John.
And I'm also going to remove myself and play the Tsitsipas Rune preview for now. And we'll catch up again when the players come back to
or so. So I think for me, it's like a combination of these two factors.
Ready? Play.
And that's the match I'd like to come to next. In fact, before I even come to that, I'm looking at 8 players on the screen right now, and one of them is going to be making the final. Greek sport Watanuki, Rune, Tsitsipas, Giron, although I should say Gidon, I think, shouldn't I? Fils, Paul, or Medvedev. And I guess we're sort of making Tsitsipas the favourite from that bunch of 8, despite, having never really got close to an Indian Wells final before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, confidence-wise, form-wise, the racket switch, everything seems to be coming together for him. I do think, obviously, there are also dangerous players there, but after Rune lost, that was also like a really important one. Of course, Zverev too. But after that, you kind of just have to look at Tsitsipas and Medvedev as like the biggest names there. Steph would have been like, before Dubai, he would have been nowhere near that conversation. But right now we have to put him there. Of course, there's also Paul. Rune is somehow playing pretty well right now too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tsitsipas has to be ahead of Medvedev simply on the basis of like confidence, form.
What is Tsitsipas's best run at Indian Wells? I'm going to just off the top of my head say
quarter in 21.
Yeah.
I would say off the top of my head, the October edition.
Does it surprise you that he's never gone closer? Slow conditions shouldn't necessarily be against him. Although I do think that generally on a hard court, maybe he does favour the slightly quicker conditions, which I think Australia tends to be a bit quicker than the US, sort of over sort of a 10-year period. I know every year it sort of changes.
He's done well in Acapulco, though.
Yeah.
Beijing, it's a little surprising. I would definitely say that. I think, Tsitsipas either is like very good on very quick courts where he's just dominating with the serve and forehand, or on very slow where like he's an all-court player and like very all-rounded there. But I do think he should have an Indian Wells run at some point. Maybe it's this time. And as much as we're kind of like seeing right now, I don't think the conditions are really any different or that much different compared to last year, even though that was, of course, something that before the tournament we were talking about a lot. But yeah, I think at this point I'm rating his confidence more than the past history.
Yeah, of course, not easy. Holger Rune up next, and then potentially, as we said before, Greek sport in the quarters. But Holger Rune, the matchup there in terms of head-to-head certainly doesn't look like it's a great opportunity for Steph, because he's 3-0 behind in the head-to-head with Rune. The most recent of which was indoor hard. In fact, the 2 most recent clashes were indoor hard. One in Stockholm in 22, and the other one at the ATP Tour Finals. But he did retire in that one, so it was not really a huge amount to go on there. The other one coming at Roland Garros. Who can forget that one? Was that maybe Rune's, breakout result in terms of sort of big wins and really putting him on the map? I do recall that one. Steph was cutting a very forlorn
It was an
figure.
important one for both, right? Because Tsitsipas from that bottom half was looking
Yeah.
like the favorite to make it again. And
It was a very lopsided draw that year, I remember.
Yep.
With Djokovic, Alcaraz, Zverev, and Nadal all in one half, and then the other half saw. I think it was Casper Ruud, wasn't it, getting to the final that year? But it was always likely to be. I mean, it was his half really that he kind of blew in a way. I mean, he gets it to one set all in that match against Holger in the fourth round, but then Holger pulls away from him somewhat surprisingly. Straight sets in Stockholm, and as I mentioned, he retired indoor hard. But they've not played each other for sort of 15, 16 months. So perhaps we can slightly put that aside, and they've not played on an outdoor hard either, and certainly not in Indian Wells. So we are leaning Tsitsipas, right?
Yeah, simply on form, but I do think that Rune is obviously so talented, and we've seen what he can do at his peak, including these wins over Steph. So, like, if there's someone on the way to the semis here that's gonna throw a big curveball to Tsitsipas, like that's Rune, yeah. And
Sure.
very important for him to come through last night as well, because in these conditions he should be beating Humbert. I think he did, slow, bouncy, not really the Frenchman's best options, and he's also done decently well in Indian Wells in the past. Yeah, it's actually an unexpected danger in that Tsitsipas draw. That before the event you would have said, well, yeah, sure, if Rune gets to the fourth round, but at this point in time you just can't trust him to win even one match. Well, he's picked it up at least for two wins, and this is definitely an opponent that I think Steph is not like comfortable against.
Obviously, both players getting a bye in the first round, with Rune then beating Mute in straight sets before that really pretty epic match he had last night against Humbert, winning in 3. Tsitsipas yet to drop a set in his 2 matches against Sabot Wild, which you would expect him to win that one probably without dropping a set. But looking very good against Berrettini, although I do think the quality from both players actually was not of the highest order. Steph did not have to bring his A game to win that. For whatever reason, Matteo just wasn't feeling it, or wasn't playing anywhere near his best yesterday. And I also saw those sentiments that I had shared on social media echoed by 1 or 2 Italian journalists too. So Stefanos is now into the fourth round. But the main reason I think we have a lot of faith in Stefanos right now is because of that Dubai run, right?
Yeah, Dubai run. I mean, you tell me if it's confidence or the racket switch. The stats seem to back it up. That
Return
the
position
racket
as well has
switch.
been highlighted, right? I think he's sort of generally staying consistently deep for return position.
I mean, that's going to be a court thing as well, I think, especially in Indian Wells, right? I mean, on clay, Steph likes to go very far back and just try to take as many returns as he can off the forehand. So I don't know if it's not something related to that too. But yeah, the stats in terms of the spin, the power on the backhand definitely seem to suggest that he has improved that since switching to that Babolat frame. Someone on my Twitter, like yesterday, I think commented that like Tsitsipas was also very confident in Australia against Mikkelsen and wasn't playing that well, and that's why it's definitely the racket. I don't agree that he was confident at all over the last like year or so. So I think for me it's like a combination of these two factors. We don't actually know if it's going to be also like a prolonged thing. I think it's very common that you get a new piece of equipment and you kind of start playing a bit better because you think that it's going to help you, and it can be a bit of a placebo effect, right?
Yeah, placebo, exactly. Yeah.
So
what
maybe
about
it's
Dubai?
that, but
What about Dubai and Indian Wells? How do they compare in terms of speed? More or
they
less?
don't. They don't at all.
Okay. So Tsitsipas obviously a fast hard court there, and probably why we've seen Felix, contrasting results in those 2 tournaments, going out early. Just thinking of Felix because, of course, that was Stefanos' final opponent. But we're both going for Tsitsipas to beat Rune, right?
Yeah, I think it would be unwise right now to not to side with Steph. That's simply all I have to say. But it is a dangerous opponent for sure.
Definitely. I mean, neither of us would be surprised if Rune emerged with a 2 or even 3 set win there. But yeah, I'm going to go Stefanos. Maybe in 3, he might just drop a set en route to the quarters for the first time in this tournament. There is one thing I just want to add to Tsitsipas and what you said earlier about feeling confident. Well, his post-match press conference in Australia was like, I don't know if you can relate this to confidence, but confidence and effort sometimes are related. And he's like, I just don't sort of know where I am. And I think there was a ball or two that I remember watching that match live against Mikkelsen where it was like, oh, maybe I thought he would have chased that one down, but he didn't. And afterwards in the press conference in Australia, he was saying like, I just don't really know where I am right now. I don't know where my motivation is. And that seemed to be a sort of rock bottom for him, and maybe just saying those words and getting it out in the open could help free him from some shackles that he may have felt. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't say that he's been feeling confident all year.
Yeah, looks like he actually has found that motivation, and yeah,
Yeah.
good for him. I don't know if it's going to turn him into like a slam contender again. There's still a couple of names on tour,
Yeah.
Sinner and Alcaraz, that might have a say in that.
Yeah.
But for now, he definitely looks like someone who can win this event. And also, the clay season is coming. He's usually super strong there, and he's taking some pressure off himself by having this run.
I mean, maybe, just may. I'm just thinking of an Alcaraz Tsitsipas final. Just maybe, he could just play freely. Probably the first time they met in Roland Garros in 23, but also those two matches in Barcelona in 22 and 23, I think it was. Maybe he felt a bit of pressure. Certainly the first couple of matches, I'm the big guy, I'm the established guy, I should be winning this. And when he doesn't, it must have been pretty demoralizing. And then he probably, every other match against Alcaraz since then has been like, oh, I'm just going to lose this. And he pretty much rolled over one way or another in all of those. Rolled over might be a bit strong. He just didn't have any answers. Maybe, I know this is Alcaraz's domain, maybe more than any other court on the planet right now. But maybe it could and should be a chance for Tsitsipas to at least play him in a different environment than those Barcelona and Roland Garros matches that are so indelibly marked on my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it will be a different environment. We're kind of clutching at straws, but
we are, because this is also an amazing, maybe better environment for Carlos than Roland Garros and Barcelona even. But yeah, straws are being clutched at. I'm actually quite pleased for Stefanos. I'm not always big on him, but actually, when I see somebody, same with Casper. So probably 1 or 2 years ago, you'd have heard me say stuff about Casper being a bit fortunate to be in Grand Slam finals, etc. But these guys are trying things, and I think that's what we want to see. And Stefanos is certainly trying. Okay.
Yeah, same. I've like given Tsitsipas the you'll never win a slam many times, but like I am happy to see this run. And when someone is just like finding his game again and reminds you what sort of a class player he can be on his day, it's super entertaining to watch.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Wow. I probably thought it would be a bit like it was it Sydney they played, or Brisbane somewhere earlier this year?
Yeah, I was expecting something like, I don't know, maybe 3-3, 3-4, but not like this. Well, it's a good first serve, and wow, that was largely uncompetitive. I think they're pretty good friends, so they're going to have a good exchange at the net. Yep. But wow, it was a statement.
It's a statement again. It's just another 2 games. She's just losing 2 games in a match at the moment, which is nuts considering she's played Yastremska and Garcia in this round, of course, here Mukova. But another statement win in, as I say, arguably her best environment. Just because I think someone like Mukova, for example, at Roland Garros can push her a bit more. Naomi Osaka can push her at Roland Garros. She's unbelievably dominant there, of course. But here it feels like, maybe I'm just not remembering 2023 that much, but here it just feels like she's more dominant than even at Philippe Chatrier.
Yeah, she just looks so like at home and at peace here. Like, she just loves the environment and the conditions. The wind doesn't seem to really bother her. The extra spin, the profile of the court suit her really well. And it's just so hard to get her. That extra, like the surface isn't playing any different to what it was the years before.
Oh,
like
that was
there's been a lot of talk about that, but honestly, there's no difference. There's no change. Like most of the players think that too, I think, right?
Yeah, right. I think we were all thinking that. I think we all sort of expected it to play very, very similar, but we thought it might play a different enough for Carlos and Iga to be more vulnerable. Well, until now, they look as both of them, and maybe even more Iga in particular, look as at home as ever.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the quarters. Maybe Junction Wen can push her. Maybe I think today's match with the Kostyuk will be a real barometer of where Zhang is at, because she beat Azarenka in the first round, but I kind of think Azarenka is like declining. Like I think
Yeah.
think maybe this is the last year where we really see her being a factor in the
Yeah.
top 30 or something. And then she got a revenge win over Lulu's son, but I think this is a whole nother step up if she can beat Kostyuk and look convincing doing it. Then you might go into that match with some hope that it could be a competitive one.
Yeah.
Also because of their
Agreed.
last meeting at the Olympics and some of the mental belief that Zhang has against Iga.
Yeah, I agree. Just gonna listen to what she's got to say. Yeah, she did take all her chances. It's a bit chilly there. I can see from the jacket bit she's adorning.
It's trying to rain, but we call this tennis paradise, so we're going to try and keep it away as long as we can, especially if it means we get to watch you play. Coming out and playing tennis in front of so many fans here.
That's quite funny when he says that. No, this is not me having to go at tennis here, but in front of so many fans, and we could see about 25 people behind her. I have memories of that Kostyuk match from last year. That's another reason why I would like to see Zhang. Or at least I think Zheng is more likely to bring something to Iga a little bit different.
Okay, through to the quarterfinals once again. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Iga Swiatek.
There you go. Iga through in dominant fashion. Fingers crossed that Mukova doesn't take it too personally, because Iga is capable of doing that to pretty much anyone on the tour, especially here in Indian Wells.
Six games dropped in 3 matches.
3 matches, yeah. That match feels like it was about an hour long. I could be wrong, but it must be about an hour, maybe even slightly less. 57 minutes, I think I can see on the clock actually. So yeah, I don't know if there's any key stats we can take from that. Obviously the WTA website.
No break points faced, really high first serve percentage.
Yeah.
Just very low winners to unforced errors.
Yeah.
Ratio.
And in the end, Mukova bringing her game wasn't quite enough. I do think that she might have just been a yard short of her best as well. And when you're a yard short of your best and you're playing Iga Swiatek in Indian Wells, then you are in big, big trouble. And as I say, 6-1, 6-1, she wins. Anyway, Vanch, I want to say a big thanks to you for joining us today. Make sure you give Vanch a follow on Twitter on his new account, or perhaps temporary account, but at Vanch v Tennis.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Vanch v Tennis is the new one. Yep.
On the screen right now. Yeah, and I'm seeing the first serve in percentage, 65%, and points won on serve, 76. But yeah, the winners count was pretty even, but just 4 unforced errors off the racket of Iga. So a very controlled performance from her.
These are the WTA stats, right?
These are coming up on my TV screen, almost certainly provided by WTA, yeah. But 4 unforced errors from her. And winning pretty much exactly double, 50 points to 26 overall. And yeah, she will await the winner of Kinwen against Marta Kostyuk. We will also have a watch along for Tsitsipas against Rune. Fingers crossed that is a slightly more exciting affair than this one, and a bit more competitive. Vanch, myself, and Damien have all just gone on the side of, to some extent, gone on the side of Tsitsipas in terms of likelihood there, but I think it will be a competitive match, and I don't think it can be less competitive than this one, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be really fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. All right, Vanch, once again, thanks for joining me today, and we'll catch up again soon.
Yep, thank you. See you soon.
And to everyone else, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
I guess that silence means that we're probably live. Yeah. I was just fixing something with my cables still. But yeah, hello, Brenner. And finally, we are playing again in Indian Wells.
Yes, sir. Not too bad of a delay. It does look like there could be some more rain in like 2-ish hours. So, hopefully we either get a straight sets win or or it doesn't truly rain. But Stefanos Tsitsipas does get on the board first. He holds for 1 love.
Historically, not the easiest matchup for him, definitely. 3-0 for Holger, but I mean, all the confidence right now with Steph. Still cleaning up the court, seemingly. I think Tsitsipas has pointed out that at least part of it is still a little wet, and Aurélie Tourt is taking care of that.
Good. Yeah. Obviously, 3-0 head-to-head, but not too much data there. And we mentioned how, they haven't seen each other on outdoor hard yet. So, but, Stefanos in a great spot, playing some amazing tennis, and now he gets a slower surface that, in theory should help him. I know he talked about how he was a little bit, or he wasn't necessarily happy that the courts are, playing slower in general on the tour. But, great win over Berrettini, good win over Seboshwild. So, here we are in a little bit more of a test for him in Holger Rune.
Oh yeah, and Holger, I mean, can be anything from GOAT to absolute bin level on the day. So hopefully this is one of the days where he will actually deliver something for us. You said 2-ish hours for the rain. That makes me pretty optimistic that we will get to see at least most of this match.
And Damien, where are you in the match here? 30 love, 15 love?
Actually, yeah, 30 love.
Rune just
pretty quick stream as well.
Yeah, on my computer it's pretty good. On the TV application, Tennis Channel Plus, it's a little slower, but
yeah, Tennis Channel is pretty famous for this.
Yes, yeah,
infamous.
Yeah, that's right. It was really bad last year. It's at least like it's like a point now, as opposed to 3.
Not horrible. We already see some of these points that Steph definitely likes to play on courts like this, standing so far back on return, hitting everything he can possibly of the forehand side, and making it work thus far to go 30-all.
Yeah, Damien, I just talked with John about, I guess my key for Rune to have success is the backhand down the line and catching, Tsitsipas, who's cheating so far over for that forehand. And I was referring back to the Mickelson match at the Australian Open in the first round, where I feel like Steph got bullied in that department just because the ability of Mickelson to go up the line.
Good one, yeah. I do think that's how Alex dominated the match, along with the net approaches too. But yeah, Steph used to be like probably the fastest player in covering his forehand corner, which I guess you kind of have to be if you're playing like he does. But yeah, I don't feel like it's been quite the same these last few years, maybe. But yeah, of course now Rune is actually forced to save a breakpoint. First service game of the match. And well, when you have a breakpoint against, when you're facing a breakpoint against Stefanos Tsitsipas, it's obvious where to go. The backhand.
Yeah.
Well, right as I say that, he does go at the backhand again at deuce, and it's a shank on the return for Steph, but he does find the pass on the next shot. Still playing with the Wilson frame, even though it's not actually Wilson.
That's fine. I feel like they haven't really gone public about it, but obviously we see all the close-up pictures and whatnot. So
yeah, everybody knows, but it's pretty funny for sure that they still have that Wilson
right.
thing. And obviously, this is part of his contract, I would assume, but
Yeah,
Wilson will not be too happy about it anyway. I mean,
right.
Probably the company that's kind of like lost the most as well in the last few years. Now seems like another not a great PR move for them. Anyway, another breakpoint saved by Rune with exactly the same thing, just a strong serve at the Tsitsipas backhand.
And then a good slider, ace. It's early, Damien, but I want to hear your take on the Holger Rune camp in general, or the coaching situation. Maybe a little later on.
Yeah, I mean now that we're one game all, I guess it's a decent moment to do it. Pretty insane shot that he just hit.
That was
yeah, what my take is, I mean, I'd like to see some more, let's say, planning ahead and like, I don't know, just an idea of what he wants to do as a player in terms of his box, because obviously the last few years it's been like, oh, I have this idea, maybe Boris Becker can be my coach, but now he can't commit to like a full schedule with me. Oh, let's bring in Muratoglu even further into the spotlight. Then no, actually I'm going to be back to my previous coach, and right now he's still with him, and it just never really felt like he actually has a plan, and that's a little sad.
Yeah. See some early athleticism on display.
Yeah, sure. I had to catch up to that pretty short ball from Steph very quickly. Did that. Still, such a massive player in terms of his potential talent, but it just feels very frustrating that, like, I don't know, let's go back 2 years from here. So Indian Wells 2023. I don't feel like Holger Rune today is a better player than Holger Rune 2023 Indian Wells. And that's just the worst part about it, really. But who knows? Maybe a win like this could be what opens him up again to great success. I guess it's Griekspoor in the quarter, right? For either of these.
Yeah. And then I said I'd fancy Griekspoor over Fees or Orgeron, just because I think the moment, we talk about Fees not having gone deep in 1,000, so we'll see. We'll see who gets through. I think it's Fees who will ultimately get through there, and then I think Griekspoor has been so sturdy.
Wait, so I thought Griekspoor is playing Rune or Tsitsipas.
Is that true? No,
I don't know. I was asking, and I don't know.
No.
Winner of Rune Griekspoor is gonna play Giron or Fees?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Sure. So let me double check it. But yeah, I know, right? So a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, now that's an opening in the draw.
It's true.
Oh no. Yeah, I think the reason why I got confused is because when we were recording these preview shows with John, like preview, I don't know, short videos yesterday, I think we said it backwards. But yeah, that's insane. Okay, that's a massive opportunity for Talon then.
All right, and 2 break points here for Rune.
Yeah, speaking of opportunities. That's good because I was actually going to tweet something out, and that also would have been wrong. So thank you.
Yeah, pretty stacked top half. When you're getting, Medvedev, Rune, Tsitsipas, or Tommy Paul. It's a lot different from what that bottom section looks like. Or
The other way around, yeah.
yeah.
No, Hicksport is going to play Rune or Tsitsipas. Where were you checking the draw? Like, no, it's definitely like I said. Yeah, Hicksport is playing Rune or Tsitsipas.
Oh yes, you're right. All right, that's on me, Damon.
Okay, that's good that we didn't make any mistakes yesterday. I mean, we probably made 1,000 other mistakes with John yesterday.
Yeah, me and John made a mistake earlier. All right. Oh, John's taking credit. I'll take some credit, John. That's right. Yes. So apologies. We were talking about it in reverse earlier.
Okay, so John got it wrong earlier. Sure.
Right. As we said, that Steph did save both of his break points.
I think more breaking than me having a shave, John, was actually this info that you gave us earlier. That was something I haven't seen yet in tennis. So good stuff. Hashtag professional. Both players have now survived a couple of breakpoints each. With Steph, they were consecutive, but similarly, nothing has come out of that. Good. So because earlier, I was just gonna say that like Hicksport was of course lost Tsitsipas in Dubai and was pretty convincing. So I guess Talon would like to see Holger in his quarter.
Well,
yeah, it actually makes sense, John. You're right. It wouldn't be the first time that Watanuki beats himself. So there is a bit of a double entendre thing to it, but
Damien, you ever have any plans to go to any US events?
if I win the lottery, like that's kind of it, really. I mean, the cost of like the plane ticket to the States is pretty much like a week-long trip to a European challenger. So, even more, in fact, from Poland. So yeah, it's not really a possibility. I mean, I guess you could potentially fly over and I don't know, spend a few weeks there, and maybe then it starts making sense. But yeah, no, not for the time being. If someone is willing to cover these costs for me, obviously yes, I'm flying. I would love to go to Newport, the upgraded version of it this year.
I know you're excited about that. I've been lucky. I've gone the last 2 years to Newport.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited, and they're bringing women as well this summer, so should be good. Should be a good event.
Yeah, I can already see all the outrage in July when I start tweeting about the upgraded version of Newport and how excited I am finally for this event. And
I know.
yeah, people will be a little disappointed. I mean, especially Americans. You guys have that thing for the Hall of Fames and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I can see some people will be a little disappointed with what I will say, but well, what can I do? Same with Estoril, when in May I will be announcing that it's upgraded this year, and all the Portuguese fans will be crying, as I am crying after seeing this Stefanos Tsitsipas smash.
Yeah, I mean,
effectively takes him out of this game.
Right. I'm not mad about it. Obviously, I wish it would stay on the tour just for its, I guess, notoriety. and like how worthy it is. But like the time slot is just it's an awkward one for a lot of these guys. Not many people want to go play on the grass after Wimbledon. So you're usually not getting, stacked fields, or they just pull out, I think that happened with Tommy Paul, Bublik. So, I think it's a great opportunity. Should be fun.
Yeah, not the strongest ATP Tour event. I can't say I didn't enjoy it some years though. Ivo Karlovic beating Gilles Miller in the final and finally winning this after a few attempts. That was definitely big for me as an Ivo Karlovic fan at the time. Yeah, too many years though when John Isner would just like straight up rip the draw apart, and
Right.
there's not much you can do. Ramkumar Ramanathan made an ATP Tour final there, which kind of says something. But of course, this is Indian Wells, and yeah, it's a slightly bigger event. Some call it the fifth slam.
I think it feels like it just because it's like the first 1,000 of the season.
The venue as well, right? It's like way more
Yeah.
massive than most of them.
Right, it's
Yeah.
huge. And it's the first time that we get the men and women together. Yeah, obviously after Australian Open. So, yeah, I mean, just like how big the venue is.
Yeah, I guess they alternate weeks in Dubai, Doha. So,
Right,
so
that's what
that
I was
would be true, probably. Although, actually, Brisbane.
Yes,
Brisbane,
you're right. Yeah, a couple of
So,
those.
yeah. First time since Australia, anyway.
Right. So Damien, you do fancy Tsitsipas coming out on top here?
Well, I just don't have any trust in Rune. I do think like it's not an accident. Like it's definitely not just something coincidental that he's 3-0 in this head-to-head. Like for a while, this was looking just like Tsitsipas against Alcaraz or Tsitsipas against Sinner. And I know he actually has a pretty decent record against Sinner, but if they keep playing like right now, it won't stay like this. I'm just saying that like the talent gap was very much there. But at this point in time, I just don't trust Holger not to like shoot himself in the foot. And of course, Tsitsipas, I mean, since Dubai, it would be unwise to like go against him, really.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think about what comes to mind is the Cincinnati final. No, not the final, semifinal. That was Tiafoe
yeah.
Rune. I think he was serving for it, got broken and lost the breaker. Might have been
Two match points,
Yeah,
I think.
Yes.
There was that net
Yeah,
court, right?
40-15. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah. But yeah, he can just, like you said. I mean, he can be a top 5 player on any day. We just don't know what level and how long we're gonna get it for. There we go. Deuce. Big first serve from Steph. The return is long. So a bit of a feeling out process to start, but they've both had looks. Many pressure points.
They've both had some pretty rough misses too, and that's one for Rune as Tsitsipas takes it to 3-2. Something that I don't think we'll learn today, but I've been thinking about it a bit recently. Is like, is it actually the racket, or is it just a thing where you buy a new piece of equipment and your game just improves instantly? Like a placebo effect. You're just thinking, oh, now I can finally. I can finally have that shot. I finally know how to do it with this new racket. But it might just be, something that wears off. It's kind of like if you get a new coach and for a month you're like, oh my, this is it. And then you return to normal. But yeah, of course, that's not really something we'll learn today about Mr. Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it just came out of nowhere. He went out first round at Australian Open. Lost first round to Medvedev, and then bang, like Masters title. So, all positive. All positive. It's good to see him back and being confident, playing well, seeming a bit happier, I'd say. Obviously winning helps.
Yeah, I think this is a sentiment that John raised yesterday when we were recording this previews. But both me and him, over the last couple of years on Talking Tennis, we've said a number of things about Stefanos Tsitsipas that, well, I mean, we were never unpleasant towards him. We just, didn't really have the belief, and I still don't really think he's going to be winning slams from here. But it's important to mention that despite being like pretty down on him the last couple of years, it makes me happy to see him, progress like this and actually find something again in his game. It's been good to see the quality that has been missing and kind of just get reminded of the beast he once was, and maybe still will be. Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I felt, and what you said, and how you guys have been kind of previewing maybe a Carlos Stefanos Tsitsipas final here.
Mhm.
I just love to see that from, a mental perspective, because you said, I mean, I don't think it would be that close, but I'd just be curious to see, how much Steph backs himself, and is it even like close to a match?
Yeah,
That
I
would
mean, if there's
be
ever
a
an
real
opportunity to
level.
like let it loose against Carlos, I don't know where it comes, but maybe he can kind of like make it so that the Indian Wells final feels like that for him. I don't know, but yeah, obviously that's one where he also hasn't won, and it feels a little bit more brutal than the Rune head-to-head.
Right.
So I guess against Holger, he's only won one set, but I mean, 2 completed matches, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Yeah, I missed the first 2 sets of Humbert Rune, but was able to catch the third. Pretty high level from him since he got broken. He was down 2-love. Yeah. Got the break back and then turned it on. And I know you discussed like Humbert on these courts is not gonna, you're not gonna get a handful like you would on a quicker surface, but it's just good to see him put patterns together, finish points, play an aggressive style on this surface.
Nurlan, I think it's just you having no sound, indeed. I mean, it's very hard for me to answer this question, to be honest, because I just met Brenner 15 minutes ago. We exchanged a WhatsApp message 30 minutes ago. Still, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you if he's a product of talent or hard work. He's definitely raised some very good points since we started talking. I like the one against, connecting it to the Mickelson match. So, I don't know.
Well, to be determined, maybe. Thank you, Damien.
Nurlan is suggesting, though, that I am a product of hard work and dedication, and nothing came easy to me. Which I don't know if I should, how I should feel about it, but it's also Nurlan, so I take it with a grain of salt for sure.
Thanks for being a fan, Nurlan. You're always giving good, fun comments. All right. Here we are. Rune love 15, second serve.
some really good intent in the aggressive forehands here from Holger. Well, slow, bouncy, should be good for that side. Basically clay in Indian Wells.
Right. Team, I
mean,
think
maybe
it
not
literally
anymore.
got slower. It got slower, I'm pretty sure.
Might be, yeah. I think it was Rublev who said something interesting about basically the conditions being very different depending on the time of day. So he kind of felt like he was playing 4 different events.
Yep.
That's also interesting, but like, yeah, I'm not really sure how to apply it to today. Obviously, it should be a bit faster in the day. But yeah, compared to last year, I just don't feel like we've had that much of an impact in terms of the conditions. The weather clearly like outranks the court, and yeah, it's just all playing pretty much similar.
Right, and Zverev, I mean, I know Medvedev's comments were like maybe a little bit silly, but Zverev was literally didn't notice a change in the courts. He was like, "Oh, they changed them." So, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but well, it was just such a big topic, on social media, and for all of us thinking like, okay,
Right.
so is the reign of Alcaraz and Swiatek done basically, because now it's gonna be just more of a normal hard court? But yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's playing any different, which neither of these two guys should really like be crying about. I know they maybe haven't had the best Indian Wells rounds so far. Quarters, I guess, for Steph. I don't think Holger has been. Maybe also quarters or fourth round. But yeah, I mean, they should definitely both be fine with this. And yeah, I mean, they are. They've been playing very well at this event.
Right. Right. I don't know what your take was, but I thought Berrettini wouldn't be too difficult for Steph on the surface.
Well, seems like you were right.
Yeah.
I guess I was more towards like 50-50 with a nod to Steph because he beat him in Dubai. But yeah, I
Right, a
mean,
little
it
redemption.
was much more comfortable than that match. And
Alright.
what a game here, as Holger Rune is the one to break first. A couple of really good points where he was super aggressive with the forehand, no issues with the timing there at all. And then the pass here, landing on the line.
Pretty
41 minutes
impressive
in.
pass from there.
Yeah. That's like right on the verge of Tsitsipas maybe like not even making an attempt to catch it because
Right.
he thought it might be going out, but well, it rolls in. Well, either way, yeah, I do think he actually decided to let it go, which obviously ends up biting him here. But yeah, Rune breaking first, and so far not looking like the worst player at all.
Yeah, I mean, the one mistake he made wasn't even a mistake. He just went for it. The backhand at 15:30, where he stepped inside the baseline, tried to take it down the line, and put it in the middle of the net. But what we know about Rune is, he gets in that headspace. He'll keep going for it. He's the type of guy like, no, I don't want to go 3 for 10. Like I'm gonna keep going for that winner. Which he's still trying to find some consistency. I think like you can't play that way the whole match. So just be curious to see how he plays with the lead here.
Terry said that Rune said the court was faster. Indeed, I mean, we've seen so many different takes and opinions, but I mean, all in all, I think we can all agree that the change is not as drastic as we thought it will be. And that's kind of the main, that's one thing that people can agree on for sure. Otherwise, yeah, you're always going to hear basically every player has a different take on court speeds and court conditions sometimes, and it's tough to kind of just like bring it down to an average of these estimations or whatever. But yeah, I mean, definitely one thing is that it's just not that different. It's really not the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah. Jamie, another player that comes to mind in terms of like how do they start to surface, and especially coming from Dubai, I mean, it's just drastically different. But Italian Greek sport, like arguably one of the best servers now, like in the world in terms of like how well he defends it. But he's so like serve +1 oriented. But I feel like he can be good on like slower surfaces because he does use a lot of topspin on that forehand and the backhand. But I'm just curious, like your take on him and how he uses the surface.
Yeah, I think actually in challengers, his favorite court used to be clay, like easily. That year when he has 2021, when he wins the record 8 challenger titles, he wins 6 of them on clay. And for a while, I remember actually having these conversations, like 22, 23, with other tennis fans who were just like, okay, so let's now wait what Griekspoor does on clay on the ATP tour. And I think I was pretty right there that like, I don't think the higher he goes, like he kind of needs the surface to be helping him out with the serve +1 damage, as you were talking about. So I think sort of like the better players, when he's facing better players, he kind of needs the surface to be doing something to him, but it's not like doing something for him. Like he needs that sort of boost and just easy serve +1 forehand points. But yeah, I mean, it's not like he is going to struggle if the courts are going to be a bit slower. So yeah, I mean, both Dubai and Indian Wells, he's been fantastic, kind of like getting that opportunity, creating that opportunity for himself by beating Zverev and taking it. Both things are kind of like equally impressive. Whatever happens from now on, I mean, that's a different topic. But yeah, it's fantastic to see this run for sure. And yeah, I don't think that the conditions like bother him, even if typically he has kind of like historically he needed something a bit faster to trouble the top guys.
All right, Stefanos playing with great depth on the backhand, has 2 break points. First one is saved by, it was all over the line. Ace from Rune.
That's gotta be 3 break points that Rune has faced so far, and I don't think the return has been back in play on any of them. Which might change soon, as he has a second serve here. Even if he goes at that Tsitsipas backhand, it's likely not going to have that much impact as, the previous breakpoints.
Stefanos gets him. Forehand back behind him. Back on serve. That was quick.
Yeah, pretty nice backhand return as well.
Yeah.
I mean, probably helped that he, like the entire world knew what Holger was going to go for with that serve. And he just stepped in, took it pretty early. And after that, he was always in control. So back on serve.
Yeah, he didn't miss a backhand return that game. And then in the rally, he's just hitting with so much topspin, so much depth. It was funny because I think he was saying after one of his matches, but he's like, yeah, I'm gonna, these courts they're high bouncing. So yeah, I'm gonna use my topspin to my advantage. I'm like, yeah, like that. That would make sense. But yeah, I mean that's where he was telling Berrettini, getting that backhand kind of out of his strike zone. And the double fault from Steph. So quickly love 30 now.
Yeah, first of the match, maybe brought about by the canon return of Rune on the first point, but who knows? The Rune forehand continues to look very dangerous here. Definitely, when he has a bit more time on it, it can be a very nice shot, even if it's somewhat overcomplicated, let's say.
Yeah, you might be reading the Steph serve pretty well already.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, which he just
he just stepped into it.
Leaps into it.
Yeah, both the serves on the deuce side. So 3 break points for Rune.
Mm-hmm. Well, and on the ad side, earlier Tsitsipas double faulted, and you could kind of feel two things. That first of all, this second serve isn't going to be powerful, and also that like 4-0 up, Rune is surely just going to go for a winner. And yeah, both things happened. So instantly he breaks again, and he will actually get a chance to serve for the set this time. How was some peak returning from Holger, and I guess even the more impressive points were number 1 and number 3. Like number 4, I know it was a winner, but that sort of serve just has to be eaten alive.
Right. Yeah, and Steph fought in that rally, but just got bossed. Like 3 is just huge for her. It was actually the backhand that started it, but just inside in forehand, inside out forehand. Lethal combo.
Got Svitolina and Pegula playing right now as well, but still very early into their match. Swiatek, of course, dominating Muchova earlier. I was on the phone with my dad like an hour ago, and he's like, "Oh, Swiatek has already won, but she's always doing well against Muchova, right?" And I had to tell him, actually, nah. Obviously, I laid it out to him, like, in a 10-minute oral essay about the history of the Swiatek Muchova matchup. I'm pretty sure he fell asleep like in the middle of it. but well, that was his mistake of saying something that was so horribly wrong.
Right. Yeah, what a French Open final that was. And Muchova was someone who I told John about. Me and Nick on the WTA Weekly, we did like 3, dark horses. And she was one that I chose. I think she can just play well on this court, offers a lot of variety. But unfortunately,
were you doing it before the draw or
before
after
the draw? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was gonna say.
Yeah, that makes total sense then.
Yeah.
I mean, even after the draw, I mean, it's 4th round when she played Iga, no, it's like
Right.
2nd round, right? So yeah, I don't think that was wrong. Yeah, again, not much coming for free for Rune on serve. He's had such an easy time dominating the return the last 2 games, but
Yeah, Steph doing well to control those higher bouncing balls, especially off the kick serve. Yeah, hit that deep enough. Super hard to control. More pressure.
generally he must be one of the better players, like better one-handers at handling shoulder height balls, right? I mean, gotta be among the top with his like overall preferences.
Just such an athlete, Steph is.
True. Sometimes we kind of forget about it, but then he plays on clay or on a very slow hard court. That's when you can see it. Because unlike a very quick court, he kind of becomes a Kriegspar, like another serve plus 1 forehand bot.
Good serve.
Last year, I definitely had this revelation on clay, like when Monte Carlo hit, and I was like, "Oh wow!" I mean, he's just so all-rounded. He's so complete. Such a nice game.
All right, here we go. Probably biggest point of the match thus far. 30 all. Good volley. It's a good volley from Rune, and then he puts it away.
Yeah, now the one-handed backhand return is actually getting targeted still. Like it's been okay, but it is targeted a bit in some moments, and also this pass, obviously, that's also where Holger was going. And this time
Yeah, I
he
think-
cut off the angle, unlike like 5 games ago.
Yeah, he went T wide, and is able to hold.
Yeah, and here's that
Get the
backhand
first
down the
set.
line.
That was
You were-
insane. I wasn't sure if that was going to land in.
Yeah, and Steph was totally light to it.
Right.
So
And
here's
usually-
that, here's that prediction sort of you had at the beginning of the match coming true on the set point here. And well, the set goes to Rune indeed. 13 winners to 11 unforced errors. Steph 8 to 10. Pretty similar, but 36 to 27 total points won for Rune. That's actually kind of wild. And
Yeah,
also
they were
12
getting
of
out to
31.
leads.
Yeah, 12
Yeah.
out of 31 unreturned serves compared to Tsitsipas also had 31 points on serve, so it's a very easy comparison. And Rune is actually getting twice as many unreturned serves. Which obviously I would imagine that out of the 12, like 10 were at the backhand side. So
Yeah,
it's
and I
still
was
a
gonna-
thing in this match. Like it's not as dreadful as it sometimes was for Steph in other conditions, but it's still a thing.
Right, and you look at that shot spin percentage. I didn't realize that. It's a good little stat there. But I was gonna bring up they weren't using the slice much. Steph likes to like neutralize, hit his grounds, and Rune doesn't mind slicing either. Actually, pretty like attacking slice. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised with Steph still having 15% there because I just don't feel like they've been slicing like almost at all.
Right.
Um,
Maybe they're
on
counting
court
a
like this, I
return,
guess he
a
doesn't
chip
use
return.
it that much.
Right.
So
Don't
yeah.
have to.
Yeah, I actually don't know how it's counted. So like it does a
Right.
cheap return count, does yeah, especially that's important because even the last shot, I guess, well, the last return that Steph had this game, right, was a sort of a cheap. I'm like, does that count? I have no idea. The methodology, I don't know if it's explained anywhere really. I was also wondering, I think because the ground stroke speeds, like how are they counted? What sort of
Right.
shots count into that? If you're slicing, obviously that would have to like bring it down, which I don't think slices count, but yeah, sometimes there might be some sort of gray areas. Anyway, no break, almost second set, of course. Stefanos Tsitsipas serving first.
I caught the line, skipped up. Yeah.
Yeah, Rune whiffs completely there.
Main draw action in Phoenix just kicked off.
I think 2 matches have already been completed,
Yeah.
but I think it's raining
Yeah.
now or something like that. Either way,
Yeah.
it was interrupted. Usually that would mean rain, but yesterday they actually had interruptions due to technical problems. So
Right, I saw
that's
that.
why I'm not positive. But yeah, well, Hijikata Holt wasn't really going to be on my watch list anyway. Good to see Colton Smith dominate.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about Shevchenko though, because I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm worried, Damien.
me too. I mean, he's basically surviving on the main tour with like a 35-40% win rate. It's a bit
Right.
sad. I was hoping for more, but yeah, it's just not coming at all.
Me too.
I didn't see the match against Colton today, but it certainly felt like that was one where there was a pretty strong favorite, and that was not the top 100 player.
Damien, another question. What do you like? I'll just go with like, what are your thoughts in terms of, college NCAA players? Let's go with like play style compared to guys that move up the ranks. Elsewise, yeah.
You mean just in general? I think there's
Yeah.
definitely like a common trope of how a college guy is going to play.
Right.
There's a lot of just like obviously like the energy, but also just hit a big forehand, move to the net. Like there's going to be a lot of play styles like this coming out of college. But it's not really like everybody, right? And then the top guys, they will of course have their own ideas. But I do think there's like a very common, like, I don't know, if I'm thinking of, let's say, someone random, Stronkish or someone like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of these guys who get out of college and they're ranked about 500, 600, and they all play the same. But the specimens, they're gonna be obviously just like individualistic, and they're going to be completely different. They're going to be the Jake Fernley, Johannes Monday, Colton Smith. Like, no, they're not really similar to one another for the most part. But there is like a classic, let's say, college style that sometimes when I see a player, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, they played college, so obviously that's how they're going to approach tennis. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think obviously it's a fantastic way for, especially not like prime juniors who aren't certain of making it in the pros within the next 2 years. And yeah, a lot of these guys that we're watching on the tour right now, they would be nowhere without NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just got into tennis, I'd say, like, 2.5 years ago now, like, really, following it. So I was, like, surprised to see, like, Rinderknecht and Nuno Borges, guys like that who did go to college. But then I guess my follow-up question to that is, like, in terms of upside, like, I don't wanna maybe focus too much on it, but, like, a guy like Elliot Spizzirny, like, what does he have enough weapons to carry forward,
No. I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he breaks the top 100 at some point, but like, no. I mean, he's not like a not gonna be like a prime time player. No, that's just not happening.
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't know that. I just say I'm surprised by Mickelson. Like, I watched him right away, but I didn't think he would be this high this quickly.
Yeah, it seems like every year there's someone like that now. Shelton in 22, Mickelson in 23, Fernley last year. Will it be Colton Smith this time? Yeah, he's certainly. He's probably the strongest candidate at the moment. Of course, he still have a lot of college commitments until June, but yeah, he's rising quickly and has a chance in Phoenix as well. That was a sick volley here from Rune at 30 love, I think, and he claims the game to 15.
Yeah, Johannes Monday I know you mentioned his name. I like his game a lot. I think he has a chance. The last time I watched him was at Tenerife, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, beat Kepfer, made the quarters. Now it's the Mariusz Fürstenberg haircut. The other day it was Jakub Błaszczykowski. It's still the same haircut, but sure, if you want to. I've definitely managed to get a little bit younger these last few days by shaving and getting a haircut. Taiki Takizawa? I don't know who that is, to be honest, but fair. We'll keep that in mind. I don't even know if it's a woman.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I don't know. Yeah, these kicksters are getting so much grip on this court. See Shelton? Shelton's like bounced over Karen yesterday.
And Khachanov is pretty tall as well, right?
Yeah.
Not
Like
2 meters,
6'6".
but like, yeah. Almost.
Yeah, Rune going after that return. Second serves have not been threatening at all from Steph. And Tsitsipas is able to hold 2-1. A little bit more comfortable start for the two. Let's check in on Pegula and Svitolina on serve. 4-3.
That's gonna be the opponent for Rybakina Andreeva, I think. We also were supposed to have a stream from that later. I don't know if it's still happening based on. Oh, actually, it shouldn't be. Well, we'll see about
Yeah,
the
because
rain.
yeah, right.
But yeah, I think we're also supposed to have a stream from that. No promises, only because of the rain. But hopefully it will pan out. Might be a bit too late for me, but if I am still alive by then, I'll try to watch it in bed.
Yeah, that'll be late for you, Damien.
Yeah. It's not that bad now because they moved the,
Right.
they have you guys have time
Yeah.
change basically
Right.
much earlier than in Europe.
Right.
We're still about 20 days away, I think.
Yeah. I remember that I was studying abroad in Rome. And so yeah, I was like 2 weeks, I think. Yeah. 2 weeks, 3 weeks of an hour difference.
It's like the last Sunday of March, I think.
Okay.
And then the last Sunday of October. Very confusing sometimes with tennis events, or when you when you basically set up for, I don't know, a recording or something with someone from the States, and then the other day it's actually not the same hour anymore. But well,
That's like
yeah, a bit of a low-key start to the second set. Not that much to talk about, to be honest. Of course, with every single hold exchange like this, we will be getting closer to a Rune victory rather than a Tsitsipas one. Also, a pretty important stat on the screen, and I did highlight this after the opening set as well. But yeah, 52% of Rune's first serves, they go unreturned, which is just massive for him so far. Ton of that is off the backhand side and of Tsitsipas, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's why he's losing this match, but it's a contributing factor. Even though it's been looking better the last few weeks, even though it's slow here, it's definitely a contributing factor how many easy points Holger is getting just purely based on that.
Yeah, and Holger stands so tight on the baseline, so anything you leave short, like he's only a few steps away, and just forced to push you back so much.
Yeah, this rally that I'm watching right now is a very good example of that too.
Exactly. Yep.
Easily could have been way further behind, which actually might make him a pretty dangerous proposition for Steph, who likes to give himself that time on these slower courts and just kind of work his way into the points with the athleticism we mentioned earlier and just how versatile his game is. But in a way, Holger is not giving him that time. And he just keeps serving well too. So 6-4 and 2-all.
Yeah, and he served really well on that third set versus Umber. That was definitely a big assist in his road to victory there. Pizza in Rome. Yeah, it was great. It was great. I won't fight that. It's different in the States. That's for sure. Steph did not need to take that ball, I don't think.
A friend of mine commented under my tweet saying, "New racket Tsitsipas may never lose again," about 20 minutes ago. Well, at this point in time, well, I mean, Holger Rune has been pretty in control here. And I know we're still on serve in the second set, but still definitely feels closer to a straight set win for Holger than it is to a comeback here. Of course, very open from here. But yeah, I mean, it's not like Steph has been really changing the momentum here, or we haven't really seen any shift. Well, the risk of that Rune return going in was there too, but luckily for Tsitsipas, he will probably get out of this game now.
Yeah, I mean, that's like kind of what I'm thinking for Rune. It's like decision making, time of the game, going big on all of those second serves. But hey,
I mean, it's been the winning play.
Right.
I don't
That's
think he really
exactly.
has to, yeah.
Lives with it. Good point. That looked like a 9.8 insights backhand from Dubai.
Yeah, so flat.
Yeah.
And so powerful, which is pretty much
Right.
the takeaway from the Dubai stats, that RPMs went down a bit for the Tsitsipas backhand, but the depth, the pace, it went up. But Rune is there and covers that forehand corner a bit better than Steph on this point.
You see in the comments, Damien, what Sean Powers bringing up?
Not yet, but I will in a moment, as I am also watching an incredible return from Rune again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the winning strategy, definitely not worth changing that for now. That's Rune's coaching situation. I mean, yeah, as in he's back to working with Lars Christensen, and he's got, of course, the analyst as well, Mike James, with him for like the last few years. The mom is also a part of it. So, like, yeah, it's settled. Is it perfect? Well, I don't know. Has he been losing some matches because of his coaching situation, or has he been losing some matches because he's mentally ill? I don't know. But well, he finds this passing shot, and we'll have a breakdown.
That was
here.
insane. No, those are only like, it's like Carlos Alcaraz, Sinner, Rune, not many other are winning that point. That's just insane.
Yeah, and some time ago we used to put these three in the same conversation.
I know, you're gonna say that.
We even used to put Alcaraz and Rune above Jannik Sinner. And where's that now? Well, today he is playing like it. Today he is playing the part, and he breaks Stefanos Tsitsipas. Set in a break. I mean, he's been pretty dominant, really. The last, well, since like 3-all. I know that he got broken right back when he had that break there first, but since more or less 3 games all, he's been like the better player. He's been dominating Stefanos Tsitsipas on return. He's been very aggressive off his forehand corner, and yeah, I mean, he's definitely like the deserved leader here. Now it's all about front running with it and not getting that. Well, one of these pretty rough losses he's had recently when suddenly things just stop going this right.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, like the level can just come and go, and like you look at serving for the set 5-4, love 30, wins 4 straight here. I know you said it. It looked like Steph was gonna get a hold of 40-15, and Rune wins 4 straight points. You could call it 2 passing shots that made the difference there in the end, but yeah, just a high level.
Yeah, and to that coaching situation thing, like, I just don't know much. Like, obviously, we know who's in his box, and we know that right now it seems pretty stable. But whether it's good for him or not, I mean, we just can't know. If Holger loses 5 matches in a row, everybody is going to be saying, "Oh, it's because he doesn't have a real coach." But the guy who's been working with him for years, but he needs someone new now. If he wins Indian Wells, everybody will say, "Oh, yeah, great that Holger finally has that stable relationship with a coach," and everybody knows what's happening, and yeah, I feel like the results very much determine our way of looking at it. Well, some insights about the return quality of Tsitsipas today being pretty low. Yeah, I mean, we've pointed that out a few times. Just how many of Rune's first serves they go unreturned. It's definitely something that Steph really hasn't been able to stick with Holger because of. This was, I guess, to you, right? About the pizza in Rome because you were studying abroad.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever get an opinion on it from you.
Yeah, no, yeah. I said it was great.
Oh, you did. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I must.
They make it different in the States. I thought you were gonna be laughing at the most recent comment, which I've been thinking about.
Yeah. I
don't know if
that.
we want to really address it here, but
we address everything here. I mean, Potapova effect didn't really work for Shevchenko, so I guess it's a case by case thing.
But it might have though for that. I mean, they could have been together, right? When he beat Fritz there in the indoors. Where was it?
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
He was already engaged, I think.
Yeah.
In around September 23. So yeah, he definitely was when he beat Taylor. Yeah. Because I know exactly when it was because he was at the Szczecin Challenger in September, and there was this kind of players party thing, and I remember just being pretty surprised when a couple of weeks later, it was announced that he and Potapova are engaged, and I just remember laughing to my friends that that was his bachelor party.
Yeah.
So that's why I know the timeline of it very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that they would have been together, yeah, for sure, when he beat Fritz. So maybe it's just something that doesn't last forever. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, Holger Rune, he's just flying out there now. 6-4, 4-2. This is one of these matches where seemingly nothing can go wrong from here for Rune.
Right.
But we've seen this movie a few times. I do think he's playing much better than, for example, in this Tiafoe match that you mentioned. That was a chance for him to make the final of a big event while not really playing all that well. This feels different. I mean, this is pretty insane. This might legit be so far. This might legit be Rune's best match in months.
I'd agree.
I don't know if it says something positive or negative actually about him because it feels like a player with his talent. It shouldn't stand out this much. But
right.
Kind of.
Yeah, and probably in the back of their mind, knowing Greek sport Watanuki is waiting. I know that licking their chops seeing this as such a big opportunity.
Yeah.
That's insane.
A match that I still kind of like can't get out of my head is the Wimbledon fourth round when Rune played Djokovic. And yes, I know that it was indoors and like the serving of Novak was just insane on the day. But also it was just like Rune couldn't finish off a ball with his forehand or like couldn't even dictate with his
Yes.
forehand. And then you see a match like this, and you know, it's an actual shot in conditions like this. And then it's yeah,
Right.
he's a frustrating player, but that's only because we know how good he can be.
Yeah, you hit it spot on. You hit it spot on. Just so talented. All right, same spot for Steph. 40-15. Can he get a hold? Put a little bit pressure. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the surface, like, and I don't know why it's just coming to mind. It's like Carlos just dominating Steph is like in my mind right now on clay, particularly. But you know, it gives these guys way too much time. You know, topspin is good, but you know, it's just not hitting flat through the court. And Rune, like, it's not even unorthodox. I'm not like a huge technique type guy, but he can kind of hit the forehand no matter what way he's standing, on the run, on the rise. I mean, he can kind of pull it off from anywhere. So it's just like it speaks to his ability. Damien, you see Jane's question?
Jane. Yeah. I mean, Towson. I don't know if maybe he worked with Towson, but I mean, yeah, he has his old coach back. I actually didn't know that about Towson, if that was true. But anyway, yeah, he is Danish and he is back with Rune. He has like some very interesting backstory about being a ballet dancer and then switching to tennis coaching. But yeah, I mean, since they're both Danish, very, very possible that he was also working with Clara. I just wasn't aware of that. Not a bad track record for him, but then again, we're talking of like both insane juniors and insane talents. So maybe they kind of coach himself in a way, coach themselves.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the update on Pegula. Pegula serving for the set at 6-5, but it is 15-30. Quite competitive over there.
Well, just 2 holes away, Rune. And yeah, thus far, he's just pretty insane. Now, the only thing left to do is keep going like this. And avoid any potential mental hiccups. Yeah, it's really vital, like how early he's cutting off all these spinnier shots from
Right.
Tsitsipas. Though, on the other hand, I mean, that's probably the best shot of the match for Steph.
Yeah, yeah. Why not? Why not?
Really,
Yeah, it was
that's it.
refreshing to see, Musetti. I love his backhand down the line. It's good to see him do.
Musetti making an appearance in this match.
Yeah.
Might have blown a match point against Arthur Fields, but his
Yes.
spirit is still in this event.
You know how that came out too? It's 40 love feast. And he loses 4 straight and just goes huge on an inside in forehand, which I think might have even got the blood cord. Oh, and Tsitsipas misses that backhand down the line.
But we're still in a pretty interesting moment here.
Right.
Usually that's the kind of rally that Rune doesn't mind playing here. Backhand against either the inside out or the backhand of Tsitsipas, but this time he's the one to miss and 15-30. Maybe this is the test that he has to pass in order to get this much done.
Mhm.
Well, me laughing was actually
Yeah.
about Holger taking all these shots like on the half volley,
I know
but he doesn't take the point.
and he's like not many guys do it like him. Like I said, he just doesn't back up, just stands right on that baseline. Picks balls up at his feet like quite casually. But they're caught kind of in no man's land. Yeah, probably wanted that point down quicker. So, all right, 2 break points.
Takes so much time away from Tsitsipas, but also from himself at the same time.
Oh,
Oh, wow. He actually landed that. Yeah, so seemingly a very good point for Rune. Attacks the backhand, approaches, gets a decent volley in. Tsitsipas lobs him, and we have a tweener lob, which is not a winner, but it does win him the point. Tsitsipas tried to get it back, but he didn't, and it's a big reaction from Holger as well. I mean, if he holds after that,
Yeah, it was actually a good defensive slice from Steph, but made it a tough volley on Holger.
it's a very long rally. Again,
Mhm.
lots of like backhand cross-court play from Rune. And even if on a few occasions it was like, is this really gonna like bring him to victory? Yeah, it does eventually. He kind of like stuck to his guns and he survives a couple here. One of them,
Yeah,
of course, with an incredible shot.
you could see he got a ball. He's kind of standing in like the right side doubles alley, and he probably wanted to tee off on a forehand down the line, and he probably would if it was like even 15-30, but decided, I'll keep the rally going, hit a heavy topspin forehand to the Steph backhand. So, it's good to see him think a little bit. Some point construction. Well done.
Yeah, maybe not the biggest thinker on the court, but he is pretty intuitive. And
Very
today, I
savvy.
mean, it seems like his tactical plan is very
Right.
good.
And I know, dude, we are watching one of Rune's best matches in a while, so I guess there wouldn't be much of it, but there's not a lot of antics, not a lot of, animosity towards the box, so or not that I've seen.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, everything so far is like, lining up pretty well for him. It's just kind of about avoiding that, I don't know, either like a disruption in his execution of the game plan, or so far it seems like he's doing that pretty fine. Yeah. Just keeps taking time away from Steph here, approaches the net to the backhand again, gives him some sort of a chance at a passing shot, but it's very slim. And yeah, just one game away now. We are really, really close to calling this one of the best matches in Rune's recent months. I'm actually gonna look at like Holger Rune's recent events, but
Right.
I think it's
Well,
gotta
I mean,
be.
we can talk about it now because he. All right, we'll start with the Golden Swing. He plays Navone, goes to a breaker, loses it, and then
I
pretty
mean,
much gives
there
up.
can't be anything this year, right? He won
Yeah,
some
yeah.
pretty decent matches in Australia,
Yeah.
but they were like hard fought
Yes.
battles, and
We're talking about his recent good results. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can probably argue some of these Cincinnati or like Basel Paris matches. I don't know. I don't have like that much of a like my memories from I don't know, let's say Holger Rune beating David Goffin in the quarterfinals in Basel. Like they're a little fuzzy, So,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely the best one of the season. Like that's easy. Probably the best one in at least a few months if he converts it, obviously, and if he wins it in the very next game.
Mhm.
Or even in this game. I don't want to take that opportunity away from him, but especially after this return winner, which, oops, he does it again. Although, not actually, oops.
Pegula was able to hold on that first set 7-5. Oh.
I don't know. I mean, Rune is, that's pretty insane as well that this shot went in.
Yeah.
Everything is just working out for him today. And he's just 2 points away now. All about getting the job done.
Moving beautifully as well.
Yeah,
It's
that's
good.
far.
Like athleticism, just like off the charts. So it's good to see him moving well. But I guess that brings us to pressure point. 30 all. Steph, nice +1. Tucks it away. Cross court forehand. A good forehand back behind. So good hold in the end from Steph.
As the question of Rune, 6-4, 6-4, I think was the score in their Stockholm match, 2023. Could be a repeat here. Rune has only been broken once. But of course, the last game was pretty tricky. And we're talking about a player who can just like turn off at any time. Let's see if he does here.
And I feel like Stefanos is one of those players that would turn off, call it anytime over the last like 9 months, I guess, apart from the Monte Carlo Barcelona little swing, but obviously it's a little bit of a different stuff. So, I just felt like he kind of bailed out on some of those backhands after he lost that first break point. I mean, what a tweener lob. I've already seen some good shots this season. Sonego and Tommy Paul. That one's definitely a top 3.
Sonego against Wawrinka, Australia.
Yeah. And then was it Tommy Paul, Dallas first round, or was it? I think it was Brooksby.
Yeah.
Brooksby, I think it was over the head.
Yeah, Brooksby would have been the first. Yeah, that's the one where Hurkacz hit the better version of it in Halle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this land right on the line? Yeah, it does. That's Steph's thinking I got this break. Back on serve at 4-all. Oh, is that weather coming in, Damien? As Rune is about to serve it out? They're radioing in right now.
Oh. That would be a bit of a disaster.
Let's finish this. No, it looks like we're going to go on.
Good. There's a famous Indian Wells moment, of course, when Federer and Nadal are playing, and it's 5-4, 40-30 for Roger in the last game, and they have to go off for like 7 minutes. They come back and he hits an ace.
Yeah.
It's 2012 semi, I think.
Yeah, and that happened with Paolini and who was it, Lease or it have been Ross?
Yeah.
The other day,
Evaluate, yeah. Yeah,
40-30.
Dubai recently, I think. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Somehow there was a lot of rain in Dubai. Somehow it's also been raining a little bit in the desert this week, but hopefully no interruptions here. Holger Rune, I think, he'd love to get the job done, and he is just 3 points away now. Just stay on point has to be the thought right now. Don't go away from what's been so massive for you thus far. Yeah.
That's,
I mean, in the times of the French Revolution, they'd give you the guillotine if you hit a return like this. It's just 3 points away from the match. That's just no, just can't do that. Did he just put a stamp on it, Stefanos Tsitsipas? 2 points away now, Rune.
It looks like an angry backhand return. It's good.
Yeah, seems like he is generally just like pretty. He's energetic in this game, but at the same time, he's just like forcing the issue a bit much. And Rune hasn't actually had to do all that much to get these 3 consecutive match points. Let's see how quickly he can convert this, and if he can convert this.
It's a masterclass. Well done, yeah. I will say, Damien, what Holger, he held from love 30, broke from 40-15. It kind of like little spells here that kind of decided the match, and obviously that tweener lob has to, have a little circle around it. I mean, just because it would be 4-4 on serve, and
No, I don't disagree with you. Obviously,
right?
Yeah. Even
but
though
it did look good.
like such an easy win, sort of for
right.
Rune.
That's all. That's all.
That's a point that could have gone different, and we're still playing at least. Like, we don't know if he wins the second set from there, but we would still be playing this match. And yeah, I mean, the streak is over for Tsitsipas. It wasn't like a horrible effort, but he was struggling with Rune being so aggressive on return, going at the backhand, of course, and attacking it, taking time away. The last game as well, like, that was just a bit of a surrender for Tsitsipas, to be honest. It didn't seem like he had the belief he was going to win from here.
Right.
Maybe the bubble kind of burst after the last matches, but yeah, still the story today has to be Rune. Some stats on our screen: 12 winners of the forehand side for Rune, 22 winners on forced errors. Yeah, 21 out of 58 unreturned serves, and that is, of course, taking into consideration both first and second. 67 to 52 in total points won. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like a pretty dominant win, even with that winner.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to be happy about. And now you get, obviously, say, the best version of Greek sport that we could find in terms of having good runs in the Middle East, and coming here and taking down Zverev, who hasn't been really anything since the Australian Open. So make of it what you will, but still a great win, and kind of just cruised into the quarterfinal. Yeah.
I don't know what that. I mean, I don't know what to say, Nulan. But well,
Yeah.
speaking of Holger Rune, yeah, his best match in months, his best match in 2025 for sure. I mean, we have to kind of like take a bit of a step back and can't fully announce that he's here and he's going to realize his full potential now, simply because 2 years ago he was also this good. But if he can also turn this run into something more, and he's playing Talon Grigspor right now, there's really like no reason why Holger Rune wouldn't have a chance to make the final, at least here. It's just about keeping up this level, this aggression, this tactical awareness as well. And we have a very interesting head-to-head on our screens between Talon Grigspor and Holger Rune. Can the producer go down a little bit so that I can see which matches it was? Yeah, don't remember them too well, to be
Neither,
honest. Yeah.
but let's see. Madrid?
22 Hamburg, that was very early, right? I mean, that was when Holger was like still losing these matches in Bostad, and then that was quite early. But Madrid last year, I guess that's when Holger beat Navone in 3 sets, and that's a very memorable one. But then he loses this, and I don't really recall it at all.
All right, looking at some of the stats now. Oh, Grigspor is 2 for 12 on break points. And Rune only saw 3 break points all match. Got one of them. I mean, barely.
Seems like it was a bit more dominant, maybe even than the scoreline suggests. Yeah. Are we looking like that much at it though?
No.
No, not really.
I agree. I feel like I know what I'm gonna get. I feel like I know what I'm gonna get from Grigspor at this point.
It's very open, but
yeah.
I don't know. Holger, slight favorite after today.
Yeah, I'd say like more than slight, and I don't know if it's like name bias or I guess kind of circumstance, but I don't know. I just take a lot away from comeback win versus Humbert, and I know I'm a little bit biased because I only watched the 3rd set in that match, and coming here and taking care of business, which felt casual. Hungry, healthy for the first time in, I don't know, 3 weeks. Holger Rune. So I just feel like he's a little bit more dominant from the baseline, but Hey, Griekspoor got past a tough test in Zverev, and then Pesci Pericard didn't show much. I know that slower surface helps his one-handed backhand a bit, but still not reliable enough where you really feel like it's going to be a threat, especially in a tiebreak. Griekspoor's been playing a lot of tiebreak. I've been talking to John about that, and he's been good in them. And then kind of the same situation with Watanuki today. Huge little comeback in that breaker, and then that was that.
Yeah, and we have to remember that Griekspoor, like he never really like goes away. You have to just kill him, knock him to the
Right.
ground and basically beat him up while he's down, because otherwise he's just gonna save 5 match points and come back to beat you. So I don't think the last game, if that match is similar to today, I don't think the last game looks like it did today. Like with Steph basically capitulating there. I don't think Talon is gonna do that. But yeah, I like the mention of name bias. I think we all kind of like fall into this quite a lot. I don't know if this is the case, but in this particular match. But yeah, sometimes I definitely feel like well, this is maybe no, it's actually a pretty good example. But I remember recording this show about Swiatek Ostapenko with Vanch and John, and they were like, it's impossible for Ostapenko to win in straights. And I think that's like such a perfect example of name bias, because if you just like throw away who the players are and kind of just look at it, on paper, literally any scoreline is possible, and it's sort of like that here. But yeah, of course, Rune. We still don't really trust him too much, but it's 3 good matches now, and that's progress. We want to see the guy back at the top, because clearly, well, the talent is still enormous. Yes, Nurlan. I mean, well, I don't know if this was directed to me personally. I might watch it or I might not watch it, depending on whether I'll be awake at 2 a.m. But Brenner will actually watch it and likely will do it on the stream if rain allows, which hopefully it will. But yeah, that's going to be the beginning of the night session. Before then, in Indian Wells, we still have Giron Fields, and looks like Svitolina Pegula also has still a lot of story to tell, not much. Lots of doubles action too. Any final thoughts on Rune, Griekspoor, Tsitsipas, or anything you like, really? Pizza in Rome.
Good call, dude. No, I thought it was a fun match. You saw some fun points, and yeah, I'll take. I heard it was 3 versus 1. I was the only one who thought Rune would come through, so I guess I'll take that with me. It wasn't a formal conversation. Me and John had a little preview before, and he said feels like everyone's favoring Tsitsipas. What's your take? I said no. I'll go the other side. But no, a lot of fun talking with you, Damien. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Yep, great to meet you, and was obviously fun doing this match in particular, as it feels like we did get a pretty big story. And yeah, seeing Holger Rune play like this is always quite heartwarming and hopeful. Fills me with hope that maybe there is still more to his game and to his results coming. And yeah, thank you to everybody in the chat. And I think that's where we'll be calling it quits. Just like Stefanos Tsitsipas did in the last game, although I think we are doing it in a more triumphant manner. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Bye.